So now it's time to prepare in mind, body, and spirit for today's service. The reading today is from Joyous Living, Living in Gratitude, Everywhere Light, by Petra Welds and Christian Sorensen. Every atom in your body is made up of packets of energy that you are photons of light. The higher the vibration at which you are resonating, the healthier and more whole you are. And the brighter you shine. The brighter you shine, the more you glow. This allows you to be the bringer of light, a healing presence into any situation or circumstance. You are the light of the world. So if you can just now take that within for a few moments of contemplation. So how grateful I am that we are absolutely this bringer of light. We are so radiantly expressing the truth of who we are, which we are God in movement. We are that presence in that power of spirit that lives and breathes within us. That there is absolutely no way that we can be separate from this divine power of God. We are one with this energy. We are one with this magnificent power. And so I know that this same energy has created this service and has brought us together to celebrate that life, that divine power within us, to ignite that flame so that we can take that out into the world and allow good to come forth from us. And so I know that absolutely every single thing in this service is in divine order, from the music ministry, Reverend Cece, the Children's Church, just absolutely all of us coming together. And I say, thank you, God. And we say together, and so it is. Amen.
Got a few stuffed animals there, Peggy?
Yep. I love it, every single one.
So today's reading is a poetic translation of something that I've always been interested in. It's something the mystics knew and science is just beginning to be able to explain to us. That there is a unity in the universe and that everything was created from an original field of energy. And that energy, as Einstein told us, energy and matter in certain circumstances can be transmuted into one another. And so today is at 6:03 p.m. precisely, is the winter solstice, which comes from the Latin sol sistere, which means sun standing still, because it appears to us as though the sun stands still in the sky, and from this moment forward, each day is a moment longer until we reach high summer in 6 months. And it's a really interesting winter solstice, particularly interesting day, because human beings have been marking it for as long as we know. I mean, 5,000 years ago, they were building New Grange and what's the name of the other one? Maze Howe. 5,000, 6,000 years ago, both of those are in the British Isles, and they're set up to mark the precise moment of the winter solstice, not the summer solstice, but the winter solstice. And it kind of makes you wonder why it's such a big deal. The first reason is obvious, I think, that without the return of the light, we'll starve to death. That's a good reason to know when solstice is coming, right? But there's some metaphorical reasons that I think are even more powerful. I think that somehow human beings have always known we're connected to the light. We're connected to the light of the sun and the light of the moon and the light of the stars. And all the light that there is. And this is the moment when the light begins to return to the landscape of our lives. I think it's also metaphorically powerful when we think about, those times in our lives that we might call dark nights of the soul. At some point we hit the nadir, we hit the very bottom, and things turn around and the light starts to return. And if it all came back at once, we'd be blinded. So there's this kinder, gentler way to sort of ease back into enlightenment, the lesson that we have learned from that dark night of the soul. The light comes back slowly to us. And the really cool thing about it is when we're down there, we know that at some moment it's going to turn around and we're going to start to move back into a place of light. We can be a little less anxious about whatever it is we're going through at the time. And it's a wonderful reminder of that. And today's reading is another metaphorical piece. The higher the vibration at which you are resonating, the more you shine. That's what I really want to talk about today. At the level of the universal, if you think about it, at that first moment of whatever you want to call it, the Big Bang or the initial idea in God's mind of creation or whatever you want to call it, there was only light and heat. There was no matter at all, only energy. And so everything that exists in us, every subatomic particle that makes up the atoms that make us up, came out of that original light energy, that original energy of the universe. The universe was for millennia a sea of photons, basically, little packets of light. And as the universe cooled, then these subatomic particles began to form and then ultimately connect together and ultimately conglomerate together and so on and so on and so on. And this is something that the mystics have known about all along, throughout the centuries. Somehow they knew that the nature of our very being is light. In the Chandogya Upanishad, it is written, the world of Brahman, which is everything, the world of Brahman is light itself. And from the Quran, God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of God's light is as if there were a niche, and within it a lamp, the lamp enclosed in glass. The glass, as it were, a brilliant star, lit from a blessed tree, an olive neither of the east nor the west, whose oil is well nigh luminous, though fire scarce touched it, light upon light. I love that. In the book of Luke, Jesus reminds us that the eye is the lamp of the body, and when your eye is sound, when you're seeing correctly, your whole body is full of light. And he says, be careful, lest the light in you be darkness. If then your whole body is full of light, if your eye is sound, it will be wholly bright, as when a lamp with its rays gives you light. So you will be wholly light. And one of my favorite mystics, I have many actually, I guess I can't say I have a favorite, but Meister Eckhart is one that always comes to mind, particularly at Christmas because of the things that he had to say about this whole celebration that we're coming up on. Meister Eckhart said, we're not celebrating a birth that happened 2,000 years ago. We're celebrating the birth that happens in us every single day of the Christ consciousness, because it doesn't do any good if it only happened once back then. It's got to happen in us every single day. And he said, a likeness of the light in the ground of the soul flows over into the body, which is then filled with radiance. I love that. We're filled with radiance from our very soul. And so our reading is referring to that radiance that happens when we allow our consciousness, human consciousness, this mysterious, amazing thing that no one can explain, and we can only, it's even hard to talk about. But I consider it the place of connection between our individualized divinity and the whole of divinity or spirit or or whatever you want to call it. When we let our consciousness be filled with light, then the light flows over into the body. I remember Matthew Fox years ago addressing our summer meeting at Asilomar, which doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but did for years. And he said, "We are slowed down starlight." I love that. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The world we live in is thickened light." I love these metaphors because they really make you stop and think. We're all made of that ancient cosmic light that sprang into being, was spoken into being, the Word of God, however it is that you think about it, billions of years ago. And we're the inheritors of all of that. We're inheritors of all of the brilliance of the universe, all of the wisdom of the universe, all of the history of the universe. Each one of us is the place that holds all of that within our very being. Billions and billions of years of evolutionary events that have allowed us to be here. And when we own that and recognize it and distinguish ourselves in it, then we begin to vibrate at a higher frequency. We realize that if we're the place the universe is discovering and creating itself, because that's what it's always doing, it's expanding and coming up with new forms and new ideas and all the time, and we're the place that is conscious of that happening, then we start to step into our conscious participation in the creation of that future. Moment by moment by moment by moment. You know, we live in this miraculously self-organizing universe, and we've called it for centuries, the action of God as God is creating newly. And it happens through each one of us, by whatever name we call it. Whether you call it God or Buddha nature or Brahman or Allah or the Atman or the divine intelligence or the universe, whatever you call it, it's this thing, this transcendent power that sort of motivates our ideals, our yearning for peace. We all want peace in our lives. When you ask someone what their most valuable possession is, if they're a peaceful person, it's right at the top of the list. Inner peace is what we're all seeking, which means not worrying about anything, right? We don't let ourselves stress out over anything in the world or anything anywhere else. There's an ideal of peace and of harmony and of beauty and of all those other wonderful things, and it's that pull, evolutionary pull, that seeks for each one of us to be part of creating a world that works for everybody and all life, a better future for our kids, and we're pulled to that, and it's the thing that nags at us sometimes to forgive and forgive again and forgive again, so that we can have that place of peace within ourselves. Do you all read Anne Lamott? Anybody here an Anne Lamott fan? Yeah, I love Anne Lamott. She wrote this long piece in her latest book about forgiveness and how hard it is. And yet, she was acknowledging that there's always this desire in us to let go of whatever it is we're holding on to. And forgive until we've really truly forgiven and can come back to that place of love. And it's the universal impetus to evolve into something more that pulls us forward. That wants us to experience compassion for each other and splendor, and makes us gasp when we see something beautiful in the world, and the thing that leads us to try to understand life in all its ups and downs and weirdnesses and ins and outs and confusion and sublime joy and all of the other wonderful things we get to experience while we're here. When we can acknowledge and own and distinguish that we are self-conscious, powerful parts of the evolving universe, then we realize that we build the universe 1 second at a time, 1 moment at a time, 1 hour at a time, and that we when we become conscious of our place in it, we begin to ask ourselves, how would it be if I were able to manifest even a tiny fraction of the richness of my heritage, given that our heritage is 4 billion years of evolutionary happenings and, ever-increasing beauty and complexity and variety and diversity and wonder. What would it be like if I could manifest even a tiny little bit of that right here and right now? That's what Jesus was talking about when he said, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and our job is to bring it out, to make it manifest here. We all have the potential to be the vehicle for all that wisdom and all that creativity and all that richness to create heaven on earth. And each one of us, what we have to remember is each one of us is capital A, all, capital T, that. We are all that. We are all that. And when I say distinguish ourselves as that, what I mean is to make a distinction in our minds that we really are all that. So how do we go from potential to expression? How do we make the richness of the cosmos come into form right here and right now? And I think a big part of it is in making that distinction of ourselves as all that. And the bag of chips too, yes. But all that for sure. Because when we realize that, we stop trying to solve the problem on the level of the problem. We stop thinking with just our heads and saying, I just have to work this problem out. When we're faced with a situation where we're confused or whatever, we stop trying to work it out in our heads and we open our hearts and say, what is the universe calling me to do here? How is the universe calling me to respond in this moment? How am I being called to cultivate, once again, forgiveness? That's a big one. It's a big one for me, I'll tell you. Compassion, courage, wisdom, what is it? What is this higher thing that the universe is calling me to bring forth here? What is the universe asking of me in response? Not, what is this problem asking me? The problem is simply an opportunity to ask what the evolutionary universe, what God is asking of us in this moment. What am I being called to express? When we do this, we sort of declare to the universe that we are at its service. We are at the service of the evolution of the whole, which evolves us right along with it, but we're at the service of the whole thing. And when we live from that open-hearted place, we begin to understand what Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas when he said, light shines out from the center of a being of light and illuminates the whole cosmos. It illuminates the whole cosmos when we ask ourselves, what is the highest value the universe is asking me to express here? Not how can I get what I think I need, but what's the highest value I'm being called to express here? What is it that the future, my future, our future, the universe's future, is calling me to do? And I think it starts with simply acknowledging that we are that light. So what I want to do right now is to spend the rest of our time in a Sufi meditation from a Sufi mystic, Hazrat Inayat Khan, Pir Hazrat Inayat Khan. It's a Sufi meditation on light, and it, I think, will send us all out into the coming celebratory season filled with light. So I invite you to close your eyes and get comfortable. And let your head just be supported by your spinal column. Let your shoulders relax. Take a deep breath and just let any tension flow out of your body. There's nothing to be tense about in this moment, because you got a chair underneath you and gravity to do all the work. And now imagine that you are looking into a light that floods your being with its brightness. It feels good, though it's not something that you want to close your eyes at. You enjoy being blinded by this light. Somehow this light triggers memories, distant memories in you of having been a being of pure light prior to entering your body. It stirs recollections of moving in a world of light, of being only light, before that formless luminosity condensed into a physical body. And now as you inhale, feel as if every pore in your body opens and the light penetrates every cell of your body. And as your cells fill with light, you can feel the effervescence lighting every cell up with joy and delight. It's as if this light bumps up all the electrons and all the orbits and all the atoms of your body to a higher energy level. And as you exhale, the electrons fall back to their normal places. And what remains of their excited dance is a glow that emanates from your whole body. So inhale again and feel the light fizzing in your cells. And exhale light on the current of your breath. And feel your whole body radiating light outward. And as you keep inhaling and experiencing that cell level effervescence, and exhaling and radiating the light, you can feel the light around your body, this aura of light that you have, growing and becoming brighter. And imagine that you look outward into this room and see a landscape of light, with each being here radiating his or her light. And now let your awareness go very, very deep within your being. And notice what you find there too is light. At the very source of your being, there is a fountain of light that renews and re-energizes the cells of your body every second, every moment, every hour. You breathe in the light, and you are a generator of light, a source of light. You are surrounded by light. You are made of light. You are a source of light. light upon light. You are a star among stars. You bring the light to confused situations. You bring the light to dark corners. You bring the light to everything you do. You are the light of the world. And resting in this light, as we pray together, let your awareness gently ebb back into this room and this place. As I stand in this light, in this ocean of light, I recognize my connection to the source of all light. That intelligence, that wisdom, that power that spoke into being all existence and that continues to create through me and as me. That power that I call God or Spirit or intelligence or the Holy One or divinity, by whatever name I call it. It is the source of my light and my life. And I know that the same is true of every person here, of every person everywhere, of all life, of all creation. Because there is only one. There is only one existence, one mind, one heart, one infinite love in which we all partake and participate, and that lives as us and through us, and by means of us makes itself known in the world. And so I know that each one of us moves from this day forward asking, what is the universe calling me to do today? What am I being called to bring into form? Compassion, love, forgiveness, courage, wisdom, whatever it is. We respond to that deep call to be the light of the world by pouring out the light from our hearts, from the very center of our being, wherever it is needed, wherever we go, because light is always welcome. And in deepest gratitude for this gathering of beings of light, I just say thank you for this community, for all that is done by every member of this community and every friend of this community in bringing light to the world. I give thanks for life itself, this adventure of ups and downs and ins and outs and confusion and calm, all of it. For it is an expression of the divine moving through us. I say thank you, and I let it be, knowing that the universe never says no. Our words never return to us void, but always fulfilled. So I let go, I let it be, and we say together, and so it is.
I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am.
And now as we prepare ourselves to give in gratitude, I just invite you to think about all your blessings, all those people who bless you, all that you have, all that you are, all that you give from every single day of your life. Think about all that you receive from the love that is all around you right this moment. And as the offering basket passes through your hands, whether you're able to give or not, please bless the abundance and the prosperity of this community so that we can continue to grow and to do our work in the world in bigger and more wonderful ways all the time. And let's affirm together, gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
I know that as I give, so do I receive.
I know that as I give, so do I receive.
And so it is.
And so it is.
We have something really special for you today. It's a Christmas gift for you all. Last week I talked about a teacher who handed out some ribbons that said, "Who I am makes a difference."
See where that lady's standing up right there? You go over next to her.
We have for you a little package of cards. On one side it's got our logo. On the other side it says, "You made a difference in my life today. Thank you." And the kids are going to pass them out to you. And we invite you to take them and pass them to the people who make a difference. You know, maybe it's that bagger who wrapped your olives up so they wouldn't leak. Maybe it's your neighbor, whoever it is. Pass them out, shine some light. Go, kids, go.
Yes, let's sing.
1, 2, 3.
Take a while.
You are beautiful, courageous, and wise beyond your ages. This I know for you, as I know myself. You are splendid, you're unique, with the whole world at your feet. This I know for you, as I know myself. You are brother to the flowers and sister to the trees. This I know for you, as I know myself. As all life lives within you, you are one with God, it's true. This I know for you, as I know myself. This I know for you, as I know myself. This I know for you, as I know myself.
Did everybody get one? Good. Oh, thank
Do you
you
have another
guys
one?
so much.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, let's grab a couple extras for the band guys here, okay? Thank you all so much. So you heard about about Christmas today here. Mark,
What?
you want to say anything?
Oh, me? Today, last week we learned when Jesus was born, 2,014 years ago. And this week we talked about his birth. And we learned about being in a manger. Thank you. And we learned about the shepherd and the star. And then we saw what a nativity was. And we decided the nativity scene was, like the hearthstone, a symbol of Jesus and God. Remember our hearthstone from a couple of weeks ago? So now we have another symbol. So as you're driving by churches, if you see a nativity scene, you might point out, look, there's one of those things you talked about. Hey guys.
Thank you all very much. You for passing those out and for blowing bubbles for us too. And have a wonderful Christmas. It's this next week, you know, it's almost here. Oh, Kenny too. Have a wonderful Christmas, Kenny. You can go find your folks now. You can go find your folks when you're ready.
Come on, let's go find Mom. Thank you.
thank you for passing those out. I appreciate it.
There she is, right back here.
Thank you, Sandy Hodson, for the idea for these cards. It's really amazing. She came up with it weeks ago, and I had totally forgotten about it. And then I did last week's talk, and then I looked at the cards and went, wow, there really is only one mind, isn't there? We were on the same page for sure. Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. is our Christmas Eve candle lighting service, where we take a look at the deeper meaning of all of the symbology of the Christmas story and how those symbols work in our lives today. So please join us Wednesday at 5:30. New Year's Eve at 7 a.m. is the annual World Peace Meditation, where we join in consciousness with people all around the world to meditate for world peace. And January 4th, after the service, we'll have our annual New Year's feast, which Kenny has made a tradition around here. Roast pork, mashed potatoes, sauerkraut. I make black-eyed peas for the vegetarians and vegans. And you can sign up to bring something to go with all of that back on the bulletin board. It's always a great meal and a great way to start the new year. And then January 11th, after our service, is our annual meeting. So please plan to be here for to give us your input about the future of our community and the life of our community. This isn't in the bulletin, so I'm going to give you the first heads up now. January 16th at 7 p.m., which is a Friday night, we are going to host the Greater Dayton community for the showing of a movie by Tim Wise, who is an author and a warrior for equality and justice and dignity for all people. He is a white man who takes on the what I call received racism, that racism we get from our society, and white privilege and denial. He takes them on head on. And it's a great film. We're invited to host it by Jim Hagan, who is a member of the Baha'i community. And so it's an interfaith, intercultural kind of event. And we're going to invite people from all around the valley. Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m. I think it's going to be a real opportunity to make some personal breakthroughs, as well as some productive discussions starting among those attending. So mark that on your calendars. And in your bulletin, there's a flyer about the classes that are coming up. If you have never taken a class before here, Foundations is a place to start, and you can talk with me about it after the service. And there's a whole bunch more happening. It's on the back page of your program insert. And right now we have a drawing, right?
Yep. Anybody, this is the last call for tickets for the drawing for the baskets. If anybody wants them, because I'm going to draw it here in a few minutes. They're $1 a piece or 6 for $5.
Someone's buying tickets.
Yes.
So while she's doing that, before we do the drawing, I will just tell you that if there's something that you would like prayer for after the service, you can see any one of the ladies with the teal or white shawls on. They're all licensed prayer professionals, and they will they're able to see the truth for you. Sometimes we can't when we're in the middle of it, but they're able to do that. You can also make a written prayer request and put it in the prayer chest, which is back on the table. You can also call our prayer line anytime, and you can actually make a prayer request on our website. There's a clickable link there too. Lots of ways to seek prayer. But all you have to do with the practitioners is walk up and say, I'd like prayer, and they will take it from there. It's a gift to you. We call it a 1-minute miracle, so take advantage of that.
Also,
do our
we're waiting
closing?
for Peggy. Just so you know, the closing song is on page 16.
Page
35.
Oh, page 35.
Like, just so we have.
One of the
Into the light. Yeah, one or the other. Just flip through until you find it. Page 35.
We had a request to do that first song that we did over again. You want us to do it while she's taking it?
Sure, go ahead. They're going to play a song while we're finishing up this ticket business, just for fun.
You've heard it before, so you can sing it with us, okay?
Anybody else?
Yeah, there'll be a pop quiz.
You got to count down, all right?
Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Counting down to Christmas time, we're counting down to Christmas time. Christmas time is such a wonderful time. You gotta laugh, you gotta sing, just let your love shine. Christmas time is such a beautiful time. You gotta smile, you gotta play, you gotta let your love shine. When you're feeling alone, let your love shine. And you want to be home, let your love shine. Be with someone who cares, let your love shine. We've got so much to share. Christmas time is such a wonderful time. You gotta laugh, you gotta sing, just let your love shine. Christmas time is such a beautiful time. You gotta smile, you gotta play, you gotta let your love shine. We've been waiting all year, let your love shine. For this time to be here, let your love shine. Back together again, let your love shine. Christmas cards have been sent. Christmas time is such a spirited time. You gotta hope, you gotta dream, just love somebody. Christmas time is such a season to shine. You're gonna dance, you gotta glow, you're gonna let your love shine. Soon on a midnight clear, what we've waited for all year will arrive. It's almost that time. Counting down to Christmas time. We're 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 let your love shine. Oh, oh, yeah, you gotta let your love shine. Let your love shine. Let your love shine. Christmas time is such a spirited time. You gotta hope, you gotta dream, just love somebody. Christmas time is the season to shine. You're gonna dance, you're gonna glow, you're gonna. It's a wonderful time, wonderful time, wonderful time. It's a Christmas time. It's a wonderful time, wonderful time, wonderful time.
You ready for the ending? Here we go.
Christmas time.
Drum roll.
This is the girls. Jessie Murphy.
Jessie Murphy. Is she here today?
Not here today?
We have a phone number there. We can call for that one.
Right there?
I hope we don't draw all the people who aren't here. That would be kind of a...
Yeah, that's right.
The boys. Andy Jinnan. She's here. I saw her. Andy? She left.
Okay. No, I don't know. All right, not a problem. We will go.
Oh, count close.
Count close.
Oh, that's she's counting and closing. There we go. Okay.
And this is the ground resistance.
The pièce de résistance, hein?
Build of kill.
Sherry Buckner. She's here. I know she's here. Yay. Thank you for everyone who participated in that drawing. The proceeds went for bears for the kids, and we have a nursing home we're taking many of them to, and the rest are going to the sheriff's department for the cars that go out on domestic violence calls, so they have something to give the little kids. And then also for the youth church.
Yeah, part of it's going to the youth church. I did get a call from another church up in Urbana. They had 10 families that they adopted. One family did not get adopted. So we're taking a couple of the stuffed animals that are left for the younger kids.
Good.
To go up there. And then my sister-in-law's bought hats, gloves, and coats for the kids. Me and my husband bought a few things, but it's a single mother with 4 kids. And if anybody wants to donate anything, they can drop it off here and talk to Claire, because Claire has the information on it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to close up here, and let's stand up and do our closing affirmation and our closing song, which is Into the Light.
Into that photon light.
Into that photon light, yes. Let your photons free.
Free those photons.
There is a song of the universe, and I sing it.
There is a song of the universe, and I sing it.
There is a hymn of praise, and I praise it.
There is a hymn of praise, and I praise it.
There is a life of joy, and I live it.
There is a life of joy, and I live it.
And so it is.
So it is.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, have a fabulous holiday season.
Merry Christmas.